YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another collection pick of video, comic book edition. I wanted to share with you guys the comic books that were waiting for me at the local comic shop for about 6 weeks. I think it's about 6 weeks since I last went in there and picked up my stash, so like always I wanted to share what I got. So, first off, let's start with the new Hellblazer. The old book was called just Constantine, but they went back to the old name that they had. I didn't pick up the Rebirth issue. I wasn't actually even gonna pick up this, but I found out that here Swamp Thing is gonna make an appearance, and he does. Swamp Thing is in this issue. So right now Swamp Thing doesn't have his own monthly series, so I wanted to. I ended up wanting to support this to hopefully get Swampy his own book. The story's pretty good, but the artwork, I'm not a big fan of the artwork that they used, and they went for this, but it's still good, and as long as Swamp Thing is here, I'll probably still pick it up. I'm a huge fan of crossovers. I love crossovers. I love, there's two type of storylines I like. One's What If, and the other one's crossovers. And this one has Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens. The Predator and the Aliens have crossed over with a whole bunch of people, but and they have crossed over with Judge Dredd, but not all three of them. So I thought this was pretty cool. It is pretty cool. The artwork is pretty badass, and the story so far has been really good. So this is really cool. I missed. I was in a bit of a hurry, so I didn't have a proper time to check my comic books. So I didn't realize that I was missing Amazing Spider-Man issue 16. When I got home and realized, I sent an email to the comic shop, and hopefully they'll be able to save a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 16. So I don't have that, but I picked up the last issue of this 1 point stuff, Amazing Spider-Man 1.6. So yeah, this is done for. Picked up Spider-Man Deadpool issue 7. This is a pretty cool throwback. It's drawn, and it has the style of one of the old comic books. The pages have a little bit of yellowing, and the art style is very reminiscent of old comic books. So this was pretty cool, but it's a filler issue. It's not the main thing, and that's my kind of frustration with this series, because it was supposedly just going to be a mini-series, but then they saw it was really popular, so they made it a kind of a monthly thing. But the main story takes a break, and then you have all these filler issues, which are cool, but they break the flow of the story. So the main story continues in Spider-Man Deadpool issue 8, where Spider-Man and Deadpool are still trying to figure out who sent out to kill Peter Parker. And slowly, at least through this series, Spider-Man is having glimpses of the deal he did with Mephisto. So, hopefully, this will break that open, and because I have read online that Amazing Spider-Man seems to be getting cancelled, but they're going to restart Spider-Man, unfortunately, again. But fortunately, back with his marriage and with the kid that was shown in Renew Your Vows. So, that's pretty cool. If that ends up happening, I'll have two of the superheroes in their proper place and status quo. One Superman, who's back, the pre-Flashpoint Superman is back, married with Lois Lane, and they have a kid, so if they bring back Spider-Man with the marriage intact and with their kid, that would be super cool. I would approve that, so we'll see. Picked up Civil War issue 4. Captain Marvel is still insistent on following Ulysses' plan, despite the fact that Tony Stark has discovered that he's not really predicting the future. What this Inhuman is doing is that he's gathering data from all over the world and creating a possible result. It's not the stone-cold set future. It's a possible outcome. So Tony Stark believes that it's not good to rely on these visions. Well, Captain Marvel believes that even if it's not the actual future, it's something that she can prevent. So, at the end of the issue, Tony Stark gathers a group of of heroes, and then Captain Marvel gathers another group of heroes, and that's where the fight's gonna start. So, meh. I'm just happy that I'm not giving Marvel any more of my money and buying all the miniseries, because this is the artwork's good. The artwork is really cool, but the storyline not so much. Picked up Deadpool versus Gambit issue 3. In this one, Gambit and Deadpool's powers are kind of wonky. Gambit can't control what he charges. He actually had a night out with some girls, and as he's kissing one on the hand goodbye, he accidentally kinetically charges her hand. So that doesn't end well. And then Deadpool doesn't have his healing factor, so he gets beat up. But yeah, this so far, the artwork, not a big fan of the artwork, but the story is okay. Picked up Superman 3, continuing the I Am Gotham storyline, where this pair of superpowered, almost Superman level heroes join Gotham, and they reach out to Batman, and Batman has to figure out what's going on. So this follows through issue 3. Issue 4 reveals that Hugo Strange is back, but he's also alongside the Psycho Pirate. And the Psycho Pirate was a big player in the original Crisis. So he's back. He was killed, I think, in Infinite Crisis, because he was a zombie in Blackest Night, but with the whole reboot and everything, he's back. He's back alive, and he messes up with Gotham and Gotham Girl. So to Gotham Girl, he makes her scared, and to Gotham, he's like overcompensating, and he slowly goes crazy. Which comes to a head in issue 5, where he goes completely batshit, beats up on Batman, the Justice League come in, and somehow this guy beats up the whole Justice League. So it's up to Gotham Girl to stop him. But the artwork is really good. I really like the artwork here. And the story is very interesting, so I'm digging Batman. Picked up Action Comics issue 960, 961, and 962, which will conclude the Doomsday storyline. Doomsday is back. The pre-Flashpoint Superman is back in the New 52, dealing with Luthor. There's also a human Clark Kent, which is complicating things. And then you got Doomsday, who's his regular rampaging self. Now, a lot of people don't like Doomsday, because honestly, he has no depth, no personality. He is just a blunt object to throw at heroes, so they have to overcome his just insane power. You can't overpower Doomsday. You have to outthink him, and even then, it doesn't work out. So, but still, I'm a big fan of the monster. I like Doomsday. So anything that has Doomsday, I'll pick up. They also have this subplot with Mr. Oz, who I read online. Someone has a theory that he might meet Ozymandias, like I might have mentioned before. And at the end of this, he captures Doomsday. So probably as a weapon against Dr. Manhattan. So it's possible. Dan Jurgens is writing this, and I really love Dan Jurgens. Working on Superman again. He has a Superman's voice down, and I'm debating whether or not to still pick up Action. So the next issue is dedicated to that human Clark Kent, so I don't think they'll reveal what's up with that, but I don't know. Picked up Old Man Logan, issue 9 and issue 10. Love the Old Man Logan series, love the artwork. The story is also pretty cool. In this one, Wolverine travels to Japan to track down Lady Deathstrike, and he comes afoul from a group called the Silent Order. And in the story, at the same time, there's flashing forward, where Wolverine meets up with the same clan. Now, the thing is that Wolverine already knows, he's already dealt with them before, so he kind of knows how they work. But at the same time, he's older, so his healing factor is not as cool as as it used to be. So they got that very interesting dynamic that they're showing his first meeting in the future, and then the past meeting with Old Man Logan in the past. So, but I like that dynamic. I like it pretty much. So this is pretty cool. Picked up Justice League issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3. And in this storyline, there's like these energy things that start taking control over people's minds, and they're coalescing into these giants. And some of them have absorbed aspects of the Justice League's power. So, you know, they have to deal with that. And pre-Flashpoint Superman travels to the center of the Earth because that's where kind of the energy is emitting. But of course, the pressure and, you know, the gravity of the Earth's core is messing him up. So the stakes are high for pre-Flashpoint Superman, even though I know they're not going to kill him, but things are really bad. And I like the lineup. I like pre-Flashpoint Superman, like I mentioned before. Wonder Woman, Batman, Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash are New 52 versions. And you also got the 2 Green Lanterns, Simon Baz, and the girl that got possessed by Power Ring. So it's a good lineup. I like it. Picked up Simpsons Comics 231 and Simpsons Comics 232. You gotta love The Simpsons. The Simpsons is the longest running continuous comic book I have. They haven't messed up the numbering, so that's cool. And sometimes, you know, superhero books I love superhero books. They're great to read, but sometimes you just need a comic book that's just wacky and just a fun read, and that's Simpsons Comics to me. I love Simpsons, and I'll continue to buy those comic books. Picked up Darth Vader 23 and 24. So far, my favorite series, and it's a real shame that this series is going to end. I hate the fact that it's ending with issue 25. But in this one, Darth Vader takes the fight to Dr. Silo, and he destroys his last weapon. But Dr. Silo had an ace up his sleeve because it's revealed that he's the one that created Vader's cybernetics. So he had a kill switch in case Vader goes after him, so he turns the switch off and shuts down Vader completely. But in this one, we have a very interesting look inside the mind of Vader. We see his creation with that fight with Obi-Wan, and then he has a vision of Vader coming up from the lava, killing Obi-Wan, killing Anakin, and then he meets up with Padme, who Padme's like, give up being evil, be with me. And Vader's like, nuts to that, I am Darth Vader, I am unstoppable. So he uses the Force to will himself up, kills Dr. Silo. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And we, again, only have one more issue to go, and it's a shame that this is ending, because I love the artwork, I love the writing. This has been the best thing to come out of the Marvel Star Wars comics. And then we have Star Wars issue 21, which is also cool. Not as cool as Vader, but it's still pretty cool. In this one, they show an elite a squad of stormtroopers. These are not your stormtroopers that shoot and don't hit anything. These guys will mess you up. They're a tight unit. And this is like the elite. They're not clone troopers, but they're super trained stormtroopers. And something that, unless you read the expanded universe, which is no longer canon, you haven't really come across. So this is pretty cool. I like this single issue. And then in issue 22, the rebels are trying to take over a Star Destroyer, and they succeed. But now, you know, they have a Star Destroyer, now they have to keep it, which is what's going to continue in the story. And we have Superman 3, Superman 4, and Superman 5, where the Super Family, Lois included, is trying to deal with the Eradicator. Now, the New 52 Eradicator were these robots under the control of General Zod. And what they would do is that they would like absorb, they were like Phantom Zone things, where they would absorb the soul of criminals, and the bodies would be kept in stasis until trial. But this one took it upon himself, after a little bit before the destruction of Krypton, to absorb the souls of Kryptonians. So he wants to, you know, complete the set and go after Superman, as well as his son. So they're fighting him, and they go off to the moon, to the fortress, and that's where Superman, John, and Lois Lane in the Hellbat suit take the fight to the Eradicator. This is really good. I like the writing in this. Tomasi was doing Batman and Robin, and I love the dynamic with Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne, and he's bringing that to Superman. I like that, and he's included Lois Lane, which is a big element and the big reason why I like pre-Flashpoint Superman in the New 52, because they're a family, and they sound like a family, they work as a family. So this is awesome. I'm super digging Superman. Then picked up All New Wolverine 10 and All New Wolverine 11. And this ties into Civil War, where Shield is after Old Man Logan because Ulysses had a vision of Wolverine killing someone, Old Man Logan killing someone, and spoiler alert, it turns out that Wolverine does indeed kill. At the end of this issue, doped up with tranquilizers, he stabs Laura's little clone sister. So, yeah, that's not good. Picked up Uncanny X-Men issue 10, which concludes the Apocalypse War storyline, where Angel fuses with Archangel, so he becomes Archangel again. I don't know. And Magneto takes care of Genocide, who I don't know if it's the same version as Holocaust from the Age of Apocalypse. He looks like him because it's like this radioactive skull that's in a biosuit. So yeah, and that continues in Uncanny X-Men issue 11, where you have Magneto going to the Hellfire Club, Monet fused with M-Plate, and Sabretooth hunting a Velociraptor. So I kind of got the idea that Sabretooth is losing control. So maybe, the Savage Sabretooth will be back. And picked up Extraordinary X-Men issue 12 and Extraordinary X-Men issue 13. Concluding the Apocalypse Wars part of this, sort of concluding it, because the X-Men come back from the future, but they bring back Apocalypse. So now you have an Apocalypse running around, and Colossus is still war, so the X-Men are trying to find him, and at the same time, Magic is trying to deal with a situation in Limbo. So a lot of stuff is going around in this book, which is cool. It's cool, but I don't know what's next for the X-Men because, Marvel still has that dispute with Fox about the X-Men rights. So if they can't come to an accord, the same thing that happened to the Fantastic Four might happen with the X-Men, and, Marvel might make them disappear, which would suck. So the X-Men is my favorite X-Men. It's my favorite Marvel team. I don't pick up Avengers anymore because I don't like the direction Avengers went. But I still like X-Men. So if they get rid of the X-Men, that's gonna suck real bad. And I picked up Wonder Woman issue 3, issue 4, and issue 5 because I really like Greg Rucka's writing. Greg Rucka already did an amazing run on Wonder Woman. He had a great run on Elektra too, so I like his writing. And the artwork on each segment is cool. But again, like I mentioned before, they're doing this thing where it's the present, the next issue is the past in year 1, and then they go back to the present. But to me at least, it kind of breaks the flow, because you're reading this and this ends in a cliffhanger. Then you're taking a look back at the retconned origin retelling. So that ends in a cliffhanger, and then you're back to this. So to me, at least, it kind of breaks the flow, but it's still very well written. I still like what Greg Rucka is doing here. Especially this one has a great moment with the Cheetah and Wonder Woman. So I don't know. I'll still keep giving this a shot because I want to see where this goes. Not the year 1 thing, but this one is interesting to me. And the artwork, again, on either segment is great. The artwork is amazing in this, so we'll see. But it's well done, but the flow of this is really bad. I would prefer that, they do the year 1 thing, and then they do this thing. But whatever. So yeah, that was the comic book pickup video. I tried to keep this one short, even though there's a lot of books to read here. Like always, I like to recommend the standout books of the haul, and it's kind of hard because there's so much good reading here, but I really love the dynamic of the Superman family in the Superman book. Really, really dig this quite a bit. If you haven't gotten into it, pick up Vader. Darth Vader is great. It's well written. The artwork is beautiful, so I would definitely recommend this. And if I can get to it really quick, Dan Jurgens' run on Action Comics is pretty good, and Batman has been pretty solid. But it's basically the usual suspects. I always mention Vader and Batman, but it's because they're that good. I like what's happening here. I'm not picking up any of the other books, but I like this, so I recommend it. I recommend what I like, and it might not be what you like, but you might end up liking it. So yeah, that's the comic book pickup video, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78, thanking you and signing out.